Hello and welcome to SPLAT Fine Art Teachings. Thank you so much for being here, and I am going to do my best for artists in this world because art needs healing. The art world is suffering with all the technology and everything we have to take us away from being creative and connecting to our souls. So thank you for joining me. Let's get on with it. As you can see, I was recently inspired by a trip I took to Costa Rica, and these paintings are of my memories of Montezuma. My book teaches you how you can go from drawing to confidently facing a blank canvas in just 10 steps. Because if you take the time and patience to learn the basics of art, you are ready to create to your heart's desire. This little book took me a lifetime of painting, time spent teaching art, and 2 years to complete. At first it looks like just another art tutorial, but it is so much more, as you shall see. Once one has learned drawing, anatomy, proportion, perspective, composition, care of art tools, brushes, color, tone, texture, value, light and shadow, and finally methods of inspiration, which a lot of art books leave out, one has learned almost all they need to know about art to go in any direction they wish to pursue. And this is key now, to consciously deviate from it and begin to express from the soul. My greatest inspiration for this book, though, was the journeys I took to Bali, Indonesia, to absorb the wisdom of the New Earth Project presenters at the Ancient Futures Festival, then the World Health Sovereignty Summit, and the Bali ITNJ seatings. The summits in Bali were hosted by Sasha Stone, founder of New Earth Project, Humanitat, and the ITNJ. They inspired me so much to take what I know best to the next level. I began to focus on the dire state of art in the world today and remedies for art health at a time when nobody had even realized that human creativity was in peril. I now sit on the New Earth University Faculty of the Living Arts, NEU, which is the online New Paradigm learning community of the New Earth Project. NEU synergizes ancient wisdom with full-spectrum breakthrough technologies and innovations from leading experts in their field, visionaries and pioneers, sharing an array of talent and gifts, so that together we manifest a peaceful new earth. And I can't wait for that earth. My contribution to NEU is a workshop on the truth about the visual arts and how to heal them. In turn, this book, SPLAT, came out of that experience. Art was highly revered in all the greatest civilizations, and it's also a vehicle for positive human evolution. For these reasons, everyone should know and learn how to teach the basics of art. Human creativity must be kept alive at all costs. Listen to this. According to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, scientists did a study on the creativity levels of a certain study group and revealed that 98% of children are born with a genius creativity level until they're about 5 years old. And by the time they reach 10 years old, only 30% of the children in the study were left in the genius creative category. And by age 15, that had dropped to a staggering low of 12%. And sadly, after years of schooling, adults are at a measly 2%, those that were left with their creative genius intact. So what better reason could there be to stay in touch with creativity than studying art and maintaining a high level of creativity throughout life? What better reason could be found to teach art to children and keep their creative genius alive and kicking from birth? So, splat yourself around the soul and start being creative. SPLAT has everything needed under one roof to pursue your creativity and enable others to do so as well by learning how to teach the basics of art. This includes the 10 basic steps of art with seamless lessons. The lessons flow from one to the other, inspiration methodologies, meditations for creativity, one for children and one for adults, and a progress chart with a celebration of completion once all the lessons have been completed to the best of one's ability. And the celebration of completion is in lieu of grades, because when you grade somebody, then they put themselves on a scale of good to bad as an artist, and it doesn't help them. But if they complete a course, then they feel much better about being an artist and that they are an artist. Already seen the constantly invading cyberflow from devices that encrypt our children's minds subliminally into the realm of the virtual matrix has already done much damage. It really does threaten to cut off our human soul connection to Source. Children who learn art can halt and reverse this constantly invading cyberflow. Hands-on Get Muddy art produces a wholly organic, external, creative existence mode. This way of being and knowing then stays with them as they grow, as it is a rich, authentic way of being, compared to frantically punching at devices for satisfaction hits and superficial program highs. Have you ever heard of transhumanism? It is an agenda being rolled out that purports that the human species in its current form does not represent the end of our development, but rather a comparatively early phase. And transhumanists believe that they can enhance humans with technology. If you want to become a non-terrestrial with no soul, feel free to embrace this maniacal escapade to dehumanize and control us. As these transhumanists crouch in the dark waiting to pounce and turn us into automatons with technological tweaks to our sacred bodies, propagandized as human improvements and progress, we stand well armed with our souls drawn and sharpened at the ready. As long as we remain connected to our souls and our sovereignty as human beings, we will remain strong and intact against the hubris of transhumanist techno-interference. Ever notice how the arts are the first to be cut when schools start budgeting? That is because human creativity is a runaway freight train that will not be contained by any of the 2,000 think tanks in the USA alone, such as Tavistock, the Brookings Institution, and Synergy International, specializing in the arts, to name a few that are all linked up like a global spiderweb to influence our thinking. Well, no matter how hard they think about controlling culture and the arts, they'll never succeed, because humanity has a way of evolving organically. Teaching and learning the basics of art goes a long way to solving this creeping dilemma of interference into the human psyche and genome. Indeed, our DNA and RNA are embedded with sacred geometry and said to hold all the memories of every creative human feat of the past. Could it be that the act of being creative activates our so-called junk DNA, propelling humanity's evolutionary journey into a higher vibrational realm or realms. Our journey into the predicted coming golden age requires that very first collective heart step, followed by that second collective soul step, and the life force of mind and body to complete the journey. Only by being tuned in to our higher creative selves will we be able to make this transition. So, who besides children benefit from knowing a solid base in the arts? Everyone. Everyone benefits from learning visual art, because once your creative neurons begin firing, you can transfer your creativity into everything else you do, from gardening and cooking to scientific research and writing. Painting from the soul transfers into creating from the soul in all areas and affects one's immediate living environment and beyond, as one seeks to be surrounded by an ever more pleasing world aesthetic. In 2017, I was invited by Michael Tellinger to Ubuntu headquarters in South Africa to create huge murals depicting the ancient sites of Adam's calendar. I share this with you now because it shows just one interesting way to incorporate the knowledge of painting into one's life. You never know where your creativity will lead you. So, how did you arrive here at this moment in time? Let me guess. To reinvigorate your artistic self? To learn creative sovereignty through art? To affirm that you are creative energy in human form? Perhaps to be able to illustrate or decorate that great idea of yours? Maybe you're wanting to teach art or hone your art teaching skills? Are you one of those people that feel art frozen, wishing to learn how to defrost your artistic self? Are you an art teacher who is frustrated with the educational art system? Maybe you're wanting to learn to teach art to loved ones who have shown an eager interest in art, even though you have never considered yourself a person who is able to teach art. Are you wanting to be part of a new art paradigm in the new world we are creating, to apply the art basics in such a way that can allow the subconscious mind to take over by naturally defaulting from the rules as you learn to create from soul? Maybe to experience being a conscious part of changing the art landscape of life itself. Maybe to express your connection to Source and humanity, especially now. Feeling called to learn to contextualize the great art awakening, as I like to call it. Maybe even to prepare to delve into your natural-born creator self that you may have perhaps always denied. Maybe to connect with the cosmos for inspiration. Who knows? But you're here. So welcome aboard to your new artistic self. So please look at SPLAT. Maybe get one. Give one to a friend for a gift.